It's been a big week for Marvel, and not just because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is out. While Marvel is enjoying yet another big release, the television side of Marvel Entertainment has been busy drumming up hype for their own upcoming projects, starting with an actual trailer for The Defenders. The trailer doesn't show anything we don't already know. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist are teaming up to save New York from a bunch of hand ninjas and Sigourney Weaver. But The Defenders is far from the only project that Marvel Entertainment has cooking. Officially, Marvel released the first cast photo for the upcoming adaptation of Runaways on Hulu. Unofficially, though, a shaky cam recording of the teaser can be found on the internet for those inclined to look for it. Meanwhile, the Inhumans are coming to ABC next fall as a television series. Instead of a proper theatrical movie as originally planned, the show is getting the next best thing with the 2-hour premiere episode playing on IMAX theaters on September 1st. Marvel's Inhumans will center on the Inhuman royal family, exiled from their kingdom on the moon and forced to make ends meet in Hawaii. Entertainment Weekly has the first look at the cast in their Inhuman outfits, submitted here without comment. In other TV news, Pluto TV, which I had never heard of until seeing this press release, but is apparently the leading free internet television service in America, has signed up for a contract partnerships with Warner Bros., Lionsgate, and MGM Studios for live streaming. The new deal increases Pluto TV's selection of channels, offering free access to each studio's library of movies and television, if watching TV on somebody else's schedule is still your thing. And over in video games, Nintendo released information about the first set of DLC content for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Originally announced in February, we already knew that the first DLC pack would include a new Cave of Trials challenge, a new hard mode, and an additional map feature. This week, Nintendo elaborated on what we can expect from this new content, known as the Master Trials DLC. The main focus, as suggested by the name, is the Trial of the Sword, which will challenge a naked Link to clear 45 consecutive rooms of enemies, starting with nothing but a stick and presumably stealing weapons along the way as enemies get progressively harder. Clearing the trial will awaken the true power of the Master Sword, making it permanently function in its glowing, powered-up state. The DLC will also add a hard mode option to the game, increasing the difficulty of every enemy by one stage and allowing them to regenerate health in battle. Hard mode will also litter the sky with floating platforms where monsters and treasures will hang out, because I guess everybody likes experimenting with Octorok balloons. And the additional map feature was also detailed. Apparently Big Brother has been watching you because the Hero's Path function will display your last 200 hours of travel on the game map, which should help with finding shrines and other secrets you haven't come across yet. Or, more likely, people will use it to draw a penis on the map. Beyond what we already knew was coming, the DLC will also add a treasure chest somewhere in the world with a travel medallion, allowing you to create a custom warp point. Of course, with more than 120 travel points already in the game, there really aren't many places in Hyrule you could use this item for any significant amount of convenience. More interesting, though, is the new equipment and its potential functions. A Korok mask will help players track down all 900 Korok seeds, but it's just the first piece of new gear Link will get with this DLC. Majora's Mask, Midna's helmet, a full suit of Phantom armor, and Tingle's outfit are all being added to the game as well. While cool looking, it's not clear if any of this gear will have their own special abilities. They're listed separately from the Korok mask, so it may be these items are for cosmetic purposes only. Outside of the DLC, there's one more feature that's been added to the game. It seems that Nintendo actually does listen to their customers because the latest update has added a proper dual audio option, allowing players to change the voiceover to any of the 9 language options. This normally standard feature was conspicuously absent from the initial release. Even though each of the game's audio tracks is present on the cartridge, the only way to access them was to change the language settings on your whole system. So kudos to Nintendo for realizing that occasionally the customer does know what they want, and wow, this is 2 weeks in a row where I'm actually proud of Nintendo. Hopefully they can keep that trend up. Moving on to this week's releases, in theaters we have King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Guy Ritchie is taking a swing at Arthurian lore with Charlie Hunnam as the once-and-future king in a rough-and-tumble telling of the classic tale. I don't remember many battle elephants in the original story, but I'm game. Meanwhile on television, Ash Ketchum continues his Pokemon journey on Disney XD with Pokemon Sun and Moon. This season, the eternal 10-year-old will celebrate his 20th year of striving to be the very best that ever was, moving up to the franchise's 7th generation of Alola. And in video games, releasing this week on Steam is Strafe? This isn't out yet? This first-person shooter looks like it's from 1996, and it kinda feels like that crazy trailer that went viral came out just as long ago. Next up, Minecube's Inside the Twisted Gravity Puzzle is a neat little puzzle game that has you rotating the map to navigate a spooky square world. For something a little bit more colorful, Rakuin is this week's RPG Maker shoutout. It's hard to say what kind of game mechanics are involved in this RPG about a hospital-bound boy taking people into fantasy worlds, but wow is it pretty. And speaking of color, Dead Cells is a Metroidvania roguelite with its own impressive pixel art aesthetic. If you're looking for a replacement for Rogue Legacy, this may be one worth checking out. And finally, Hammerick is literally a story-based game where you manipulate the words describing the situation you're actually in to change the situation. I can't attest to the execution, but it is a very cool concept. Wrapping things up with this week's CGBros video, we have Underneath by Team Underneath. It's not the most subtle commentary on society, and I'm not sure what point the ending was trying to get across, but it is a solid animation. And finally, this week's awesome video comes to us from Mr. Sunday Movies, who broke down all the Easter eggs and references in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. However, since that video is obviously pretty spoilery, check out this alternative video by Longest Solo Ever, who did a one-man rock cover of my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog background music. That's everything for this week, so are you pumped about any of Marvel's TV offerings, or will you just stick with the movies? Let me know in the comments. You can show me some love by hitting that like button, and if you happen to be new here, consider subscribing and sharing this video with your friends. In either case, thanks for watching, and have a great week!